The silence that follows Derek's question is deafening. I can feel Kai's body tense behind me, feel his protective instincts flare through our newly formed bond. He shifts slightly, positioning himself between Derek and me even though we're tangled together in the sheets. Derek, Kai starts, his voice carefully neutral. Let me explain. Explain. Derek's voice rises, shaking with fury. Explain why my best friend, the person I trusted most in this world, is in bed with my little brother? Explain why Eli has your claiming mark on his neck. I flinch at the venom in his words, and Kai's arm tightens around my waist protectively. Derek, calm down, Kai says firmly, though I can feel the tremor of tension running through him. I know this looks bad. Looks bad. Derek laughs, but there's no humor in it. You took advantage of an Omega in heat. You violated every code of friendship and brotherhood. And you did it in your own goddamn apartment, where you knew I'd eventually find you. I didn't take advantage of anyone, Kai growls, and I feel his alpha power rising. Eli chose this. He chose me. He's in heat. Derek roars, taking a step closer to the bed. He can't consent during his first heat. You know that. Everyone knows that. Stop. I cry out, scrambling to pull the sheet around myself, while staying close to Kai. Derek, stop. He didn't. It wasn't like that. But my brother isn't listening. He's locked in a staring contest with Kai, alpha power crackling between them. I've never seen Derek this angry, never seen him look at Kai with such betrayal and hatred. I trusted you, Derek says, his voice breaking. I brought you into our family. I treated you like a brother. And this is how you repay me? By stealing Eli's first heat? By bonding with him without even asking me? I don't need your permission, I snap, finding my voice despite my fear. I'm not a child, Derek. And I'm not your property. Derek's eyes finally shift to me, and what I see there makes my chest ache. Hurt, disappointment, and something that looks almost like grief. You don't understand what you've done, he says quietly. Eli, bonds formed during first heats. They're not always stable. They're based on instinct, not choice. You could have waited, found someone you actually loved. I do love him. The words burst out of me, loud and defiant. I've loved Kai for 5 years, Derek. This wasn't just heat talking. This was me choosing the person I want to spend my life with. Derek shakes his head, looking between us with something like desperation. You're 22. You don't know what love is. You've barely dated anyone. Because you scared them all away. I shoot back. Every alpha who ever showed interest in me, you made sure they knew to back off. You, who's never had a serious relationship. You don't get to tell me what I feel. I was protecting you. From what? From being happy? From having someone who actually sees me as a person instead of a fragile Omega who needs constant supervision. My brother looks like I've slapped him. His hands clench and unclench at his sides, and for a moment, I think he might actually lunge at Kai. You need to leave, Kai says quietly, his voice hard. This is my home, Derek. And Eli is my mate now. You can be angry, you can hate me for it, but you need to leave and cool down before we can have a rational conversation. Your mate? Derek's laugh is bitter. You think claiming him during a heat makes him yours? You think that bond will last? Yes, Kai says simply. Because it's not just the bond. It's everything that came before it, and everything that comes after. I love Eli. I've loved him for years, and I'll love him for the rest of my life. Derek stares at Kai for a long, tense moment. Then his gaze shifts to me, still wrapped in Kai's sheets, still pressed against his side. Is this really what you want? Derek asks, his voice softer now, but no less pained. Him? This bond? Even knowing how it happened? Yes, I whisper, tears streaming down my face. I know you don't understand, Derek. I know you feel betrayed. But I'm not sorry about Kai. I won't ever be sorry about him. He's the only person I've ever wanted, and the only person I'll ever want. Derek's jaw works, and I can see the internal war playing out on his face. Finally, he takes a step back toward the door. I can't do this right now, he says, his voice hollow. I can't look at either of you right now. Derek. I start, but he shakes his head. Don't. Just don't. He looks at Kai one more time, and his expression is full of hurt and anger. I need time. I need to think. Don't contact me. Either of you. Not until I'm ready. How long? I ask, my voice small. I don't know, Eli. I honestly don't know. He turns and walks out, and this time when the door closes, it's quiet. Somehow, that's worse than if he'd slammed it. The silence he leaves behind is crushing. I start to cry in earnest then, great heaving sobs that shake my whole body. Kai immediately pulls me into his arms, tucking my head under his chin. I'm so sorry, he murmurs into my hair. God, Eli, I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I should have been stronger. I should have waited, found another way. No. I pull back to look at him, even though my vision is blurred with tears. Don't apologize for this. For us. I meant what I said. I chose you, and I'd choose you again. Even if it means losing Derek? The question hangs between us, heavy and terrible. Because Derek isn't just my brother. He's been my parent, my protector, my entire family since I was 12 years old. But when I look at Kai, when I feel the warmth of our bond humming between us, I know my answer. I don't think we've lost him forever, I whisper. He just needs time to process. He's hurt and shocked, but Derek loves me. He'll come back eventually. Kai doesn't look convinced, but he nods. Okay, then we give him time. But Eli, we need to be prepared for the possibility that he might not forgive us. That this might have permanently damaged my friendship with him and your relationship with him. I know, I say quietly, fresh tears spilling down my cheeks. But Kai, even knowing that risk, I still choose you. Does that make me selfish? No, sweetheart. It makes you brave. He wipes my tears away gently with his thumbs. And I promise you, I will spend every day proving that you made the right choice. I will love you, protect you, and cherish you for the rest of our lives. I know you will. I lean into his touch, finding comfort in his scent, in the solid warmth of him. What do we do now? Now. Kai glances toward the bedroom door. Now we get dressed, we eat something, and we prepare for the next wave of your heat. Because you're still in the middle of it, and taking care of you is my priority. What about Derek? We'll deal with Derek when he's ready to talk. Until then, all we can do is be here for each other. I nod, understanding the wisdom in his words, even though my heart aches for my brother. We spend the next hour in quiet domesticity. Kai makes me drink more water and eat some crackers despite my lack of appetite. He helps me into one of his shirts, the fabric soft and smelling like him. We don't talk much. There's not much to say. The damage is done, and now we have to live with the consequences. As predicted, the heat returns around midnight, pulling me under in waves of need and sensation. Kai takes care of me with the same gentle thoroughness as before, but there's a shadow over our intimacy now. The memory of Derek's face, the knowledge of what we've broken. When I finally drift off to sleep in the early morning hours, exhausted and sated, my last thought is a prayer that Derek will forgive us. That somehow, we can find a way to repair what's been shattered. The next 3 days pass in a strange, isolated bubble. My heat continues in cycles, demanding Kai's attention every few hours. Between the waves, we try to establish some kind of normalcy, but it's hard when the elephant in the room, or rather, the absent brother, looms over everything. Kai stays home from work, calling in to let his crew know he won't be available. His boss is understanding. Heat leaves are protected by law, even for alphas who need to care for their newly bonded mates. I text Madison to let her know I'm safe, though I don't tell her where I am or what happened. She responds with a string of worried messages that I promise to explain later. Derek doesn't call, doesn't text. When Kai tries to reach out on the second day, his messages go unanswered. The read receipts show that Derek has seen them, but he chooses not to respond. It hurts more than I expected. He'll come around, Kai says on the third evening, when my heat has finally subsided to a manageable simmer. We're curled up on his couch, my back against his chest, his arms wrapped securely around me. He's just processing. What if he doesn't? I voice the fear that's been gnawing at me. What if he decides he can't forgive us? Then we'll deal with it together. Kai's lips press against my temple. Eli, I love your brother. He's been my best friend for 7 years. But I love you more. And if I have to choose between Derek's friendship and you, I choose you. Every time. You shouldn't have to choose. Maybe not. But life doesn't always give us the choices we want. It gives us the ones we need to make. I twist in his arms to look at him. Do you regret it? The bond? Never. His answer is immediate and fierce. I regret how Derek found out. I regret that it's causing you pain. But I will never regret claiming you, Eli. You're mine, and I'm yours, and that's all that matters. His conviction flows through our bond, warm and reassuring. I lean up to kiss him, pouring all my gratitude and love into the gesture. I love you, I murmur against his lips. I love you too, baby. So much. We're interrupted by a knock at the door. Both of us freeze. Through the bond, I feel Kai's instant wariness, his protective instincts flaring. He gently moves me aside and stands, approaching the door cautiously. Who is it? He calls out. It's me. Derek's voice. My heart leaps into my throat. Kai glances back at me, and I nod, giving him permission to open the door, even though I'm terrified of what Derek might say or do. Kai opens the door slowly. Derek stands in the hallway, looking exhausted. His eyes are bloodshot, his hair messy, and he's wearing the same clothes I saw him in 3 days ago. He looks like he hasn't slept. Can I come in? Derek asks quietly. Kai steps aside wordlessly, and Derek enters. His eyes find me immediately, and I see him take in my appearance. Wearing Kai's shirt, the claiming mark visible on my neck, my hair mussed, and my lips still swollen from Kai's kisses. I've been thinking, Derek says, his voice rough. For 3 days, I've done nothing but think. About what happened, about what you both said, about everything. Derek. I start, but he holds up a hand. Please, let me get this out. I nod, my hands twisting nervously in the hem of Kai's shirt. Derek takes a deep breath. I talk to some people. Other pack members, some of the older alphas. I ask them about heat bonds, about first claims, about all of it. He focuses on me, his expression softer than it was 3 days ago. Eli, I'm sorry. For how I reacted, for what I said. You were right. I've been overprotective to the point of being controlling. I've been so afraid of losing you, of something happening to you, that I didn't let you live your own life. Relief floods through me, but I don't dare interrupt. And Kai, Derek continues, turning to his friend. I'm sorry for accusing you of taking advantage. I know you. I've known you for 7 years. You're one of the most honorable men I've ever met. If Eli says he chose this, if he says he's wanted you for years, then I believe him. Derek, Kai starts, but Derek isn't finished. But, he says, and his voice hardens slightly, I need you to understand something. Eli is my little brother. He's the most important person in my life. I raised him after our parents died. I've spent the last 10 years making sure he's safe, happy, and taken care of. So even though I'm accepting this bond, even though I can see you genuinely care about him, I need to know that you understand the responsibility you've taken on. I do, Kai says firmly. Derek, I love Eli. I'm not just saying that because of the bond. I've loved him for years, just like he said. And now that he's mine, I will protect him, cherish him, and make sure he's happy for the rest of my life. That's not a threat or a promise. It's just the truth. Derek studies Kai for a long moment, and I hold my breath, waiting. Finally, Derek nods. Okay, I believe you. The tension in the room eases, and I feel tears prick my eyes again. Does this mean you forgive us? I ask tentatively. I'm working on it, Derek says honestly. It's going to take time for me to get used to seeing you two together. And Kai, our friendship, it's going to be different now. You're not just my best friend anymore. You're my brother-in-law, in a way. That changes things. I know, Kai agrees. But I hope it doesn't have to mean we lose what we had. We won't. It'll just evolve. Derek runs a hand through his messy hair. Look, I came here to apologize and to let you both know I'm trying. But I also need some space still. I'm not ready to just go back to normal. I need time to adjust. We understand, I say quickly. Take all the time you need, Derek. Just, please don't shut me out completely. You're my brother. I need you in my life. You'll always be my little brother, Eli. That's never going to change. Derek's expression softens, even if everything else does. He moves toward the door, then pauses. Kai. Yeah. Take care of him. He's stubborn and independent, but he still needs someone looking out for him. I will. I promise. Derek nods once, then looks at me. I love you, kid. I love you too, I whisper. And then he's gone, the door closing softly behind him. I collapse back onto the couch, emotionally drained. Kai sits beside me, pulling me into his arms. That went better than I expected, he murmurs. He's trying. That's more than I hoped for. He loves you. He was always going to try, eventually. I snuggle into Kai's embrace, feeling the exhaustion of the last few days, finally catching up with me. What now? Now we start building our life together. We figure out how to be a bonded pair, how to integrate into each other's lives. We give Derek the space he needs while showing him that this bond is real and permanent. Kai tilts my chin up, so I'm looking at him. And we love each other every single day until everyone can see that this was meant to be. I like that plan, I whisper. Good. Because I'm not letting you go, Eli. Not ever. Promise. Promise. The next few weeks bring a new rhythm to our lives. True to his word, Derek keeps some distance. He texts me occasionally, brief messages asking if I'm okay, if I need anything. I always respond enthusiastically, sending him updates about my life, trying to show him that I'm happy and thriving. Slowly, gradually, his responses get longer, more detailed. He starts asking about Kai, about our bond, about how we're adjusting to living together. Because I've officially moved into Kai's apartment. We spent a weekend moving my belongings from Derek's house, thankfully when my brother was at work, to avoid any awkwardness. Kai helped me arrange my books on his shelves, make space for my clothes in his closet, add my personal touches to his masculine space. It becomes our space, our home. The bond between us deepens with each passing day. I learn to read Kai's moods through our connection, to sense when he's stressed at work or when he's thinking about me. He does the same, checking in through the bond when I'm feeling anxious or overwhelmed. Living together is an adjustment, but a welcome one. Kai is surprisingly domestic. He cooks breakfast every morning, makes sure I eat properly, and insists on doing the dishes because you cooked, so I clean. In return, I handle the laundry, keep the apartment organized, and leave little notes for him to find during his workday. We fall into a comfortable domesticity that feels like coming home. One evening, about a month after the bonding, I'm making dinner when my phone rings. It's Derek. Hey, I answer, tucking the phone between my ear and shoulder as I stir the pasta. What's up? Are you and Kai free this Saturday? Derek asks. His tone is casual, but I can hear the underlying nervousness. I think so. Why? I thought maybe we could all have dinner together. At my place. If you're comfortable with that. My heart swells with hope. Really? Yeah. I think it's time. I've had enough space, and I miss my little brother. I miss you too, I say, my voice thick with emotion. We'll be there. What time? 6. Perfect. Derek. Yeah. Thank you. For trying. You're my family, Eli. I'll always try. When Kai gets home from work, I tell him about the dinner invitation. He looks as hopeful as I feel, but there's caution there too. Are you sure he's ready? Kai asks. I don't want to push him. He called us. He invited us. I think he's ready, or at least ready to try. Okay, then we'll go. But Eli, we need to be prepared for it to be awkward. This is the first time we'll all be together socially since everything. I know, but it's a start, right? Yeah, baby. It's a start. Saturday arrives, and I'm a bundle of nerves as we drive to Derek's house. Kai holds my hand the entire way, sending calm and reassurance through our bond. Derek greets us at the door, and there's a moment of awkward silence before he pulls me into a hug. Hey, kid, he murmurs into my hair. Hey, I whisper back, clutching him tightly. When we pull apart, Derek extends his hand to Kai. They shake, a silent understanding passing between them. Come in, Derek says. I made lasagna. Hopefully it's edible. The evening starts off stilted, all of us dancing around the elephant in the room. But gradually, as we eat and talk about safe topics, work, the weather, local news, the tension eases. Then Derek sets down his fork and looks directly at Kai. I owe you an apology, he says. A real one, not just what I said before. When I walked in on you too, I said some terrible things. I accused you of being dishonorable, of taking advantage. But that's not who you are, and I knew that even when I was saying it. Derek, you don't have to, Kai starts. Yes, I do. You're my best friend, Kai. You've been there for me through everything. And you've always looked out for Eli, even before the bond. I should have trusted that, trusted both of you. Derek's gaze shifts to me. I let my fear control me instead of listening to what you were trying to tell me. You were trying to protect me, I say softly. I understand that. There's a difference between protecting and controlling. I cross that line. Derek takes a deep breath. So I'm sorry. To both of you. And I'm asking if we can move forward from here. Of course, I say immediately, reaching across the table to squeeze his hand. You're my brother, Derek. Nothing will ever change that. Kai. Derek looks at his friend. We're good, Kai says firmly. I understand why you reacted the way you did. If I had a little brother and my best friend bonded with him during his first heat, I probably would have punched first and asked questions later. Derek cracks a small smile. I thought about it. I know. I could see it in your eyes. They both laugh, and just like that, the ice breaks completely. The rest of the evening flows naturally. Derek asks about our living situation, our routines, how the bond is developing. He even teases Kai about being domesticated, which earns him a thrown napkin and a lot of laughter. As we're leaving, Derek pulls me aside while Kai's getting the car. He's good for you, Derek says quietly. I can see it now. The way he looks at you, the way you light up around him. I was so focused on what I thought you needed that I didn't see what you actually wanted. He makes me happy, I admit. Happier than I've ever been. Good. That's all I've ever wanted for you. Derek hugs me again. And Eli? I'm proud of you. For standing up to me, for knowing what you wanted and fighting for it. You're braver than I gave you credit for. I learned from the best, I say, smiling up at him. Love you, kid. Love you too. As Kai and I drive home, I feel lighter than I have in weeks. The rift with Derek isn't completely healed. These things take time, but we're on the right path. That went well, Kai observes, glancing over at me. It really did. I think we're going to be okay. All of us. Yeah. He brings my hand to his lips, kissing my knuckles. We are. 3 months after our bonding. Kai comes home from work with a nervous energy I can feel through our connection before he even walks through the door. What's wrong? I ask immediately, looking up from the book I'm reading. Nothing's wrong. He sets down his lunchbox and keys, but doesn't move further into the apartment. I have something for you. Something I should have done weeks ago, before everything happened the way it did. My heart starts racing as he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small velvet box. Kai, I know we're already bonded, he says quickly, crossing the room to kneel in front of my chair. I know the claiming mark is permanent, and we're legally recognized as mates. But Eli, you deserved better than this. You deserved to be courted properly, to be romanced, to have someone ask you properly instead of everything happening in the middle of a heat. He opens the box, revealing a simple silver band with a small blue stone, the exact color of my eyes. Eli Hayes, will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life making up for the fact that I didn't do this first? Will you let me prove every single day that bonding with you was the best decision I ever made? Tears stream down my face as I slide off the chair and onto my knees in front of him, cupping his face in my hands. Yes, I sob. Yes, of course yes. 1,000 times yes. He slides the ring onto my finger, and it fits perfectly. We're kissing and crying and laughing all at once, our bond singing with joy and love and rightness. I was so nervous, Kai admits, resting his forehead against mine. I thought maybe you'd want to wait, or that you'd think it was too soon. Too soon. Kai, we're already bonded. We're already living together. Marriage is just making it official in another way. So you really want this? Want me? I've wanted you since I was 17 years old, I remind him. That's never going to change. We plan a small ceremony for 2 months later. Enough time to organize something meaningful, but not so far away that we're torturing ourselves with anticipation. Derek's reaction to the engagement is everything I hoped for. When we tell him over Sunday dinner at his house, he actually smiles, a real, genuine smile. It's about time, he says, raising his beer in a toast. Congratulations, you two. You're not upset? I ask carefully. Upset? Eli, you're happy. Genuinely, radiantly happy. Why would I be upset about that? Derek's expression softens. Look, it took me some time to get here. But I can see now what you and Kai have. It's real. It's solid. And honestly, I'm glad it's Kai. If you had to bond with someone, I'm glad it's a man I know and trust. Does this mean you'll stand as my best man? Kai asks hopefully. Derek pretends to think about it. I don't know, that's a pretty big commitment. Derek, I warn. He laughs. Of course I will, you idiot. Someone has to make sure you don't screw up your vows. The wedding planning becomes a welcome distraction. Madison insists on helping me choose an outfit, eventually settling on a simple but elegant suit in soft grey that brings out my eyes. Kai wears navy blue, looking so handsome that I nearly forget my own name when I see him. We decide to hold the ceremony in the clearing, where Kai first taught me to fish all those years ago. Back when I was just Derek's little brother, and he was just Derek's friend, and neither of us could admit what we really felt. The day of the wedding dawns clear and bright, with autumn leaves painting the forest in shades of gold and crimson. Madison helps me get ready, fussing over my hair and adjusting my collar at least a dozen times. You look perfect, she finally declares, stepping back to admire her work. Kai's going to lose his mind when he sees you. I'm nervous, I admit. Good nervous or bad nervous? Good nervous. The best nervous. I smile at my reflection, barely recognizing the confident, happy person staring back at me. I just want everything to be perfect. It will be. Because you're marrying the person you love, and that's all that really matters. The ceremony itself is small and intimate, just close friends and family. Derek stands beside Kai as promised, and Madison stands beside me. When the officiant asks if anyone objects, there's nothing but supportive silence. Kai's vows make me cry. Eli, he says, his voice steady even though I can feel his nerves through our bond. I spent 7 years loving you from afar. 7 years telling myself I couldn't have you, that you deserved better than your brother's best friend. But fate had other plans. Our bond was forged in heat and desperation, but it's strengthened every day by choice. I choose you, Eli. Not because of instinct or biology, but because you're the kindest, bravest, most beautiful person I've ever known. You're my mate, my partner, my home. And I promise to spend the rest of my life proving that I'm worthy of you. My own vows are simpler, but no less heartfelt. Kai, you've been my secret for 5 years. My impossible dream, my what if, my someday. And then someday became right now, and right now became forever. You didn't just claim me that night, you saved me. You've given me safety, love, and the courage to be myself. I don't know what I did to deserve you, but I promise to spend the rest of my life earning this bond, this love, this incredible gift. When the officiant pronounces us married, when Kai kisses me as our friends and family cheer, I know with absolute certainty that this is where I'm meant to be. The reception is held at a local restaurant, nothing fancy, but filled with warmth and laughter. Derek gives a speech that's equal parts touching and embarrassing, sharing stories from our childhood and from his friendship with Kai. When Eli was 12 and our parents died, I promised myself I'd protect him, Derek says, raising his glass. For 10 years, that's exactly what I did. Maybe too well. But today, I'm passing that responsibility to Kai. Not because Eli needs protecting. He's stronger than I ever gave him credit for. But because that's what family does. We take care of each other. So welcome to the family, officially. You're stuck with us now. I can't think of anything I'd want more, Kai responds, pulling me close. Later, as we're slow dancing to a song Madison picked out, Kai leans down to whisper in my ear. Happy. Deliriously, I whisper back. You. I've never been happier in my entire life. He kisses my temple. Thank you for choosing me, Eli. For fighting for us even when it was hard. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I know. That's what makes you so extraordinary. We stay wrapped in each other's arms, swaying to the music, lost in our own world. When the reception ends, and we finally return to our apartment, now decorated with just married, streamers courtesy of Madison and some of our other friends, we collapse onto the couch in exhausted happiness. We did it, Kai says, pulling me against his chest. We're really married. We were already bonded. I know, but this is different. This is standing up in front of everyone we love and choosing each other again. Publicly. Permanently. I'd choose you in every lifetime, I murmur, tilting my head up for a kiss. In every universe. In every version of reality. That's supposed to be my line, he teases, but his eyes are bright with emotion. We make love that night with a tenderness that steals my breath. It's different from the desperate passion of my heat. Different even from the comfortable intimacy we've developed over the past months. This is sacred, a celebration of everything we've overcome and everything we're building together. Afterward, wrapped in Kai's arms with my head on his chest, I feel complete in a way I never knew was possible. Kai, do you ever wonder what would have happened if my heat hadn't failed that night? If we'd never bonded? He's quiet for a moment, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on my shoulder. Sometimes. But I don't think it would have changed the outcome. Maybe it would have taken longer. Maybe I would have finally gotten the courage to tell you how I felt. Maybe you would have come to me. But we would have ended up here eventually, Eli. I truly believe that. Fate, destiny, whatever you want to call it. You were always meant to be mine, and I was always meant to be yours. The heat just accelerated the timeline. I'm glad it did, I whisper. I don't want to imagine spending more years hiding how I felt, watching you from afar and thinking I could never have you. You never have to hide again. Not your feelings, not your wants, not any part of yourself. I love all of you, Eli. Every single part. I snuggle closer, breathing in his cedarwood scent, feeling the steady beat of his heart beneath my ear. I love you too. So much it scares me sometimes. Don't be scared. I'm not going anywhere. You're stuck with me for the rest of our lives. Promise. Promise. It's been a year. I wake up to the smell of coffee and cinnamon rolls, Kai's signature Saturday morning surprise. Stretching languidly, I feel the pleasant ache of last night's activities and smile. Even after a year of marriage, our passion hasn't faded. Through our bond, I feel Kai's contentment in the kitchen. I pull on one of his shirts and pad out to find him at the stove, his hair adorably messy. Morning, beautiful. He greets me with a kiss. Sleep well. Perfectly. I steal a piece of cinnamon roll. What's the occasion? Your brother called. He's bringing someone over for dinner tonight. A date. My eyebrows shoot up. This is huge. Derek hasn't seriously dated anyone since before our parents died. I'm happy for him, I say sincerely. He deserves to find what we have. Kai pulls me into his lap. Speaking of which, I've been thinking about our future. About starting a family. My breath catches. You want kids? I want everything with you, Eli. Kids, a house with a yard, growing old together. His grey eyes search mine. But only if you want it too. I think about little ones with Kai's eyes or my smile. About the family I always dreamed of. Yes, I say, my voice thick with emotion. Yes, I want that. All of it. His joy explodes through our bond, and he lifts me off my feet, spinning me around. We're going to have a family, he says. We're going to fill this place with love and laughter. That evening, Derek arrives with Sam, a quiet beta who works at the town library. They're adorable together, Derek surprisingly soft and attentive in a way I've never seen before. Over dinner, Sam tells us how they met, how Derek spent weeks coming in to browse, before finally asking him out. He was so nervous, Sam says with a fond smile. I was not nervous, Derek protests, but his reddening ears give him away. Later, Derek pulls me aside. He's wonderful, I tell him. I'm so happy for you. Thanks, kid. Derek glances at Sam. I think he might be it for me, Eli. The one. Then don't let him go, I say firmly. You deserve this. 2 years later, I stare at the positive pregnancy test in my trembling hands, barely able to believe it. After months of treatments and hoping, it finally happened. We're going to have a baby. When Kai comes home, I meet him in the hallway with tears streaming down my face. I'm pregnant, I blurt out. Kai, we're going to have a baby. His face transforms into pure joy. We're having a baby? We're having a baby, I confirm, laughing through my tears. He sweeps me into his arms, and through our bond, I feel his overwhelming happiness, his instant protectiveness of the tiny life growing inside me. The night our daughter is born, Kai never leaves my side. When they place our perfect baby girl in my arms, I understand what people mean when they talk about instant, overwhelming love. She's beautiful, Kai breathes, tears streaming down his face. She's perfect. We name her Luna, after the moon that was full the night we bonded. Derek is the first visitor, bringing an enormous stuffed bear and looking terrified of the tiny bundle in my arms. When he holds her, his expression transforms into something soft and awed. I'm your Uncle Derek, he murmurs. And I promise I'm going to be way less overbearing with you than I was with your dad. Later, when it's just the three of us in our hospital room, Kai looks at me with wonder. We're a family, he says. We've always been a family. Now we're just a bigger one. He kisses me carefully. Thank you, Eli. For everything. For this beautiful life. We gave each other this, I correct. We found each other against all odds and fought for it. I think about that terrified Omega who feared his own nature, who thought his first heat would be the worst thing that could happen to him. I was so wrong, because my first heat didn't ruin my life. It gave me everything. Kai, this bond, our daughter, this beautiful family we've built. What are you thinking about? Kai asks. About how sometimes the things we fear most are actually the things we need most. About how that night became the beginning of the best part of my life. No regrets. Not a single one. I kiss him softly. I'd live through it all again if it meant ending up right here with you and her. Me too, he whispers. Every single time. Luna stirs, her eyes fluttering open briefly before she drifts back to sleep. Welcome to the world, baby girl, I whisper. You're so loved. And as I sit there with my husband and our daughter, I realize I'm not afraid anymore. My first heat was supposed to be my greatest fear realized. Instead, it was fate delivering everything I'd ever wanted. It was the universe saying, here. This alpha. This love. This life. It's yours. And I claimed it. We both did. And now we get to live it, together, for the rest of our lives.